Get ready to dive deep. We're talking IBM. Big reveal. Granite 3.0. Now, before you go, another AI announcement. This one's different. We're talking open source AI, the kind that could really shake things up.
Right.
Especially for businesses.
Yeah.
Think customer service, cybersecurity, even how businesses are run day to day.
And what's interesting here is IBM, they're not exactly new to this, you know? They've already got a multi-billion-dollar generative AI business going.
Oh, wow.
So this launch, it feels like a power move. They're really solidifying their spot in the enterprise AI world.
Okay, so let's unpack this Granite 3.0. First off, we're not talking about just one large language model, right? There's several.
Absolutely. IBM's released a whole range, actually. You've got your general purpose models, good for all sorts of tasks. Then there's the more specialized mixture of experts models. Those are the ones that excel in specific areas.
I see.
And then, and this is the really intriguing part, they've got these guardian models.
Guardian models. Okay, the name itself kind of hints at this, but I'm guessing the focus here is on safety and making sure this powerful AI is used responsibly.
Exactly. That's precisely it. These models are designed to prevent misuse, which is a huge QC concern as AI gets more and more powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, we can't talk LLMs without talking data, right? It's the lifeblood. And IBM has gone big here. We're talking a massive 12 trillion token data set.
Yeah, 12 trillion.
For folks who don't know, help us break that down. What does that even mean?
Sure. So a token, think of it like a small chunk of text. It could be a word or even just part of a word.
Okay.
So 12 trillion tokens, that's a mind-bogglingly vast and diverse data set.
It really is. But I'm sure you'd agree, it's not just about how MUCH data, right? It's the quality, the type of data. What makes IBM's data set different?
You hit the nail on the head. IBM has a unique advantage here. They've trained these models not just on publicly available language data, which a lot of companies use, but they've also got code in there. And get this, their own internal data. Decades of stuff accumulated from being a tech giant. That gives Granite a much richer, potentially more nuanced training ground compared to models trained on, say, just text from the internet.
That's fascinating. And this is where IBM claims Granite outperforms, get this, even big names like Google. That's a bold claim.
It is.
What makes them so confident? Are there specific things Granite just does way better?
They've been a bit quiet on the specifics of their benchmarking, gotta say.
Oh, okay.
But their emphasis on that unique data, the quality of it, it suggests Granite might be a rock star in areas where that data really shines. Think tasks that need you to deeply understand technical language, code, or even how complex business processes work. Stuff IBM has a ton of experience with.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But let's be real. For businesses out there, the bottom line matters. Cost efficiency, always key.
Oh, absolutely. And this is where IBM's strategy gets interesting. They've released models of all different sizes, so businesses can pick and choose, finding that balance of power and affordability for their specific needs.
So almost like choosing the right tool from a toolbox. You don't always need the biggest, most expensive one, right? Sometimes a smaller, more focused tool does the job better.
Exactly. A smaller business might not need the huge data-intensive model. They can go for something more affordable. While a big corporation, they might go all in on the most powerful option. Makes sense.
Okay, but here's where things get really interesting, at least for me.
Yeah.
The open source element. IBM's released these models under the Apache 2.0 license. And that's not just open, it's what they call permissive.
Right.
Big difference.
Huge. See, most people, they hear open source, they think free to use, which it is.
Right.
But Apache 2.0, it goes way further. It lets businesses not just use these models, but build on top of them, create their own solutions, even, and this is wild, slap their own branding on it.
Hold on. You're saying a company could take Granite, make their own custom AI, and then sell that as their product?
That's right. They absolutely could.
Yeah.
That's the power of permissive open source. It's not just using someone else's AI. It's about businesses becoming AI creators themselves. That kind of flexibility, practically unheard of in this cutting-edge world, especially for these enterprise-grade tools.
This is a game changer then, right? I mean, instead of relying on some off-the-shelf AI solution, might not even be a good fit. Now businesses can build their own, perfectly tailored, thanks to Granite being open.
Exactly. It's like, how do I put it? Giving businesses the ingredients, right, and the recipe book. But then they can experiment, tweak it, make it their own, like a culinary masterpiece, but with AI.
I like it. I like it a lot.
This could lead to some incredible innovation. Companies finding new uses, stuff we haven't even thought of. for these models.
It's not just small improvements either. We're talking potentially huge GE applications, any sector you can imagine.
Right.
Now, this reminds me, IBM also mentioned, and it sounds very future of tech, generative computing.
Yeah.
What exactly is that? How does it all fit in here?
It does sound futuristic, doesn't it? But honestly, it's simpler than it sounds. Imagine, okay, you want your computer to do something, but instead of all that code, the ones and zeros, you just show it examples of what you want.
So, like, instead of strict instructions, you're teaching it by example.
Bingo. Think about how you teach a kid about animals, right? You wouldn't hand them a dictionary. You'd show them pictures. Cat, dog, bird. They learn by seeing, by making those connections.
Makes sense.
Generative computing, it's the same idea. Give the AI the data, the right examples, and it figures out the how.
That is really intuitive. So where does Granite fit into all of this?
Well, because it's open, right? Customizable. It's like the perfect building block for this whole new era of generative computing. IBM's basically handing businesses the tools to build AI that can be taught, trained, molded to their exact needs, and they don't have to write a single line of code.
So hold on. If programming becomes more about teaching by example, does that mean, like, traditional coders, they're out of a job?
Not at all. It's a shift in skills is all. Think about it. Instead of hours and hours writing code, debugging, now those programmers, they can focus on the data itself, making sure it's good, designing the best examples. They become AI architects almost. Trainers.
Okay, so not eliminating coding jobs, just changing them.
Exactly. We might see a huge demand for people who can bridge that gap, human intention, AI capability, people who get business, but can also translate that for a machine to learn. It's a whole new frontier.
Exciting stuff. But thinking about this teaching by example idea, man, that emphasizes how important data quality really is. If we're the teachers now, we got to make sure the AI is learning from the best stuff. Accurate, unbiased, all of that.
100%. Remember, garbage in, garbage out. It's even more true now. The data we use, it's going to directly impact what these AIs can do, how useful they are in the real world. Biased data, you get biased results. It's that simple.
Which brings us back to IBM's big claim. Granite beats the competition. Even Google. You think that's because of this unique data they've got?
It's very possible. Remember, IBM's been using these models internally too, their own guinea pig, you could say.
Interesting.
Which means they've had time to test, refine, really optimize Granite using real-world stuff, feedback from their own operations. Not many companies can say that.
Not just talking the talk. They're walking the walk.
Exactly. And don't forget that multi-billion-dollar figure we mentioned. This isn't a side project for them. IBM is all in on enterprise AI. Granite 3.0, this is just their latest move. And something tells me they've got big plans for it.
This has been eye-opening, really. To summarize, it feels like IBM's making a huge play here. The future of enterprise AI, and they're betting big on open source.
Absolutely. And the impact. It could be massive. This could completely change who has access to AI, empower smaller businesses, even change how we work, how we interact with technology on a fundamental level. It's a bold move by IBM.
It's exciting, right? But also, I don't know, a little intimidating. This AI stuff moving so fast, what does it even mean for how we work, for creativity, for, like, intelligence itself?
It's true. It brings up way more questions than it answers. That's kind of the challenge of this whole field. But also, I think what makes it so fascinating, feels like we're on the edge of something huge, a tech revolution. And like any revolution, there's going to be some bumps along the way.
Exactly. And that brings me to something I've been thinking about. If programming is becoming less about the actual code and more about, like we said, teaching AI by example, what does that even mean for creativity?
The million-dollar question. Are we going to have to rethink what it means to create at all when AI is right there with us, part of the process?
Right. Like, will we even have artists, writers, musicians, or will we all just be AI whisperers guiding these tools to make our ideas real?
Intriguing way to put it. Imagine, though, an architect. They just sketch out a rough idea. The AI generates the whole blueprint, make sure it's structurally sound, sustainable, even beautiful. Or a musician just hums a melody, the AI turns it into a whole symphony.
It's mind-blowing. But also, yeah, maybe a little unsettling. On one hand, it's like anyone could create anything. But then who owns it? Is it even original? Does it challenge what makes us human?
And those are the questions, right? The ones we'll be debating for years. No easy answers. But one thing's for sure. AI is here. It's happening NNW, and it's on us to figure out how to use it for good.
Couldn't agree more. So, to wrap up today's deep dive, IBM's Granite 3.0. It's a bold step into this future we've been talking about. A huge bet on open source AI, one that could reshape how businesses, big and small, interact with this technology.
For sure. And what we're left with is a future full of possibilities. Businesses that might not have had access to this level of AI, now they do. The line between someone who creates the tech and someone who just uses it, that line is blurring.
It's going to be fascinating to see where it all goes. And that's what we're here for, right? To explore, unpack, and try to make sense of it all. So join us next time for another deep dive into the world of tech as we continue to uncover the trends shaping our collective future.